Bull or bear? Hands on the floor. Comes up a bull. That's my standard old bull or bear coin that I've been using for some time. Still can't find the original one. It's got to be around here somewhere. Good morning, or I should say good afternoon. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. Got the haven't had this cam up for a little while. This is the live Miami Coral City camera. Miami's underwater live stream. Little hazy, but still very pretty out there. Take a look at all the tropical fish running around. And always like to start my shows with a local cam if I can. All right, let's just get into what happened. Didn't do a video on Thursday. I've kind of broken my string of never missing a day some time ago. So used to do these reports day after day, Mondays through Fridays, get them out every day. And just didn't have anything to say on Thursday. Got to be quite honest with you. I just following these markets, seeing where they're going. Didn't have a lot to say other than what I say. So I don't want to sit out here and just be an empty vassal of no content. Is that a good word to use? I don't know. I'm not even sure if I use that word properly, but I did want to be able to provide some good content. Didn't feel like I could do it Thursday night, so I just kind of skipped it. Got a good night's sleep, good meal, that whole 9 yards. Started fresh and feel really good about it. So sorry about that, but here's today's video, Saturday, kind of like the week up wrap up for last week. Man, there's a lot of pretty fish there. See how easily I'm distracted? Look, pretty fish. Let's take a look at prices here and see how badly things got monkey hammered. You know, it's kind of funny. My title on Wednesday was, are we going to see $1,700 gold, $18 silver again? I think it's very possible we could see sub $1,800 gold for a short period of time. I'm going to get into that. We'll look at the 200-day moving averages and for gold and silver and kind of see where these crooks want to take it. It's the same place. It's rinse and repeat. It's the same behavior over and over. You can trade on this behavior, except with my luck, as soon as I start to trade on this behavior, they'll change it. Something will happen. I've waited too long to really, I recognize these patterns. I waited too long. Again, folks, what they're trying to do is move it, monkey hammer it down to its, both silver and gold, to its 200-day moving averages. And then that's the target in sight. And like I said, we'll get to that in a moment. 1811.71 was the close. As you know, 1828, 1835 was Thursday or Wednesday or something like that. Yeah, Wednesday actually. When I did the video, were we going to see sub $1,800 gold and sub or $18 silver again? But we touched down into that lower level right there. Let's take a look at the world markets. Yeah, 1808 was a low, getting close to that 1799. And I believe that might be close to the 200-day moving average, and we'll look at that in a moment here. 1828.36 was the high on Wednesday, or was that on Friday, actually? No, that was Friday's market. I guess we saw some bouncing around in between that territory, but man, it just kind of like a bloodbath for gold. Down 100, what was the high? $150 a couple weeks ago. We can look at the charts. Silver, not so bad, not getting monkey hammered as much. I kind of, when I started to see it fall from 24, 23, 50, 20, 23, 22, that kind of deal, I was thinking, I'm thinking to myself, man, it's going to drop real quick and faster than that. But it really didn't. It seems to be hovering in this above 20 territory. But tough to say. You can never underestimate what these crooks in the Crimex markets do. And platinum, unloved platinum, still sitting in the low 900s. Again, haven't talked about palladium much, but I did kind of notice last week, pretty dismal performance of palladium. Take a look at that, 1422. It looks like it's going to go even lower. It sure feels that way. And cheaper than gold by a substantial amount. I feel bad for folks that were kind of stacking palladium. Again, I never really hung on to it myself. I don't really sell much of it or buy much of it, but I'm sure there's some people out there that have some stacks of it that aren't feeling too good about the direction it has been heading. Let's get into these. Again, these charts just represent criminal activity in the paper markets. That's providing you the opportunity to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and probably palladium on the cheap right now. I'm not quite sure where palladium's bottom is, though. Let's move into what I was just talking about, the 1-year London fix. Let's see, this is a Kitco chart, courtesy of Kitco, with 14 and 200-day moving averages. There's your 200-day moving average, I believe there, that green line, as you can see. And where does that 200-day moving average sit? Well, lo and behold, it sits, I would say, 18 is this level right here, would be in the middle between 1750 and 1850. 1800 would be right about here. So it's looking like the 200-day moving average is around 1775, 1770. So will we touch that again? Well, again, that's kind of seems like what the crooks, the big banks have their eyes on, because they have to trade using some kind of guidelines, or something. I don't know what their criminal algorithms are, but it sure seems like they are focused on touching this 200-day moving average here. And again, that sits in the high 1700s, and we're not too far off from that point right now as well. After that point, I would believe it would just kind of bounce back up again. Again, I don't believe this is organic behavior. I don't think there's any such thing as organic behavior in the silver market for sure. Probably the platinum markets and the palladium markets, because they're small like the silver market. Gold market may be a little bit more organic than gold and silver, but still, big commercials and big central banks can monkey hammer the price of gold around just as well. The reason they don't, and they do it probably more for economic and political reasons, or to strengthen the dollar or strengthen the currency or something like that. Because you got to remember, central banks own gold; they don't own silver. So, the big banks out there, the big central bankers out there, they're not going to drive the price of gold down to nothing. They're not going to allow it to be monkey hammered too much. If anyone's going to do the monkey hammering in gold for medium to long term, it's probably going to be the central banks out there. And the reason they would do it is just to fill up their coffers with more of it. But and that's what they do. They pawn off their paper bullshit on us, and they accumulate precious metals for themselves. I mean, take a look at the central banks all across the world, especially China and Russia and other countries right now that are being de-dollarized in the dollar war, I guess you could call it, the currency wars across the world. But I digress. The 200-day moving average here for gold looks like in the high 17. I'm sorry, hold on, that's silver. What am I saying? I got over to silver real quick. We were just talking about gold. Looks in the high 17s, and silver. Where does the 200-day moving? Well, we're not too far from that right now. It appears to be, I bet you 20 is right around 19. That's a strange chart. It looks like the 200-day moving average is probably in the, let's see, does that chart tell me anything? No, it doesn't give me any prices in between here and here. I'm going to say that is probably around 21. So it looks like we are getting pretty close to hitting that 200-day moving average with silver here right now as well. So I believe the bottom is kind of in there. I don't think we're going to see sub $20 silver, but I've been wrong quite a few times, because again, you can't second guess what these big commercial banks and these paper markets, these derivative markets, the CME Group's silver, gold, and platinum pits. You can't underestimate what they can do, what they have done, and what they will do. Okay, but what you can do is start to recognize patterns, and usually they kind of take it, that 200-day moving average. Well, there you go. That's a big discrepancy right there. But I think we're going to hit this level here, maybe waver a little bit under it, and then we're back. Well, obviously at some point we're back up from here. I hate to try to predict, and short term I am terrible at, and for the last couple of years, medium term I've been pretty terrible at too. But like I said, never underestimate these crooks at COMEX. But I don't worry about it. Over the long term, folks. Again, buy the frickin' dips when you're seeing the kind of activity that we're seeing right here in this is silver prices and gold prices. I mean, could it dip down to this level with gold? I just don't see it. I don't see us going back to this level right here. I see us touching the 200-day moving average, maybe going slightly below it, and then back upwards. And the same thing with silver, especially with silver. I just don't see us going much below this line right here, this mark right here. Again, that's just my opinion, and I could be completely wrong on that, but I don't think it hurts when you buy the dip. Whether you buy the dip, well, there's a dip right there. There's a bigger dip, and there's a bigger dip, and there's a bigger dip. Overall, you're better off buying dips than you are buying on the upside here. Well, maybe it depends. I guess you'd be better off buying here than you would have here. So there goes that theory. But no less, remember, I'm not an economic advisor. I'm just a poor old country boy seeking out a living in the big city here in South Florida, selling precious metals and rare coins for the last 40 years or however long it's been. So, well, where we go from here? Let's move into buy the frickin' dips. Like I said, let's move into the reason that you don't mind owning gold versus dollars or stuffing. You know, the old adage of, oh man, that guy stuffs money and he's got $100 bills stuffed in his mattress. There are people that really do, still to this day, there's people that really do that, hoard cash. And there's people that have hoarded cash for long periods of times. And that just doesn't work. You know, it's funny. It's actually not really funny, but it's kind of a sad story, actually. One of my good customers, a young man, recently passed away, and his parents came in. They were Russian, and they were, you know, and the son had, you know, quite a bit of silver and gold that he had purchased from me over the years. Young guy, and his parents had called and said he passed away. I felt pretty bad about that, but they came in here. And I was talking about gold and silver, how it holds its value, and how he left them a really nice gift. You know what I mean? And my mother was very upset. I can see it. I mean, I can't imagine losing your kids. You know what I mean, or the people that you love. You always hope that you go before they do. But she was kind of upset, and I was explaining to her, well, he did leave you a gift. He left you this, and it holds its value very well over time. It's not like dollars stuffed under a mattress. And she actually brought up a story. She says, my mother and my father left, had a lot of money from their pension, had saved money over the years prior to the collapse of the Soviet Union, she said, and had a nice little stash, she says, and during that period, hyperinflation, she says, it basically turned to nothing. So an entire retirement that they had saved in rubles, I believe that would have been the currency they used, their entire life savings saved in rubles in a meager savings account, again, based on rubles, based on gone. So it was an interesting story to hear from someone, and they were about my age, actually, maybe a little bit older, but they were probably around my age. And again, that's when they came over this country broke, poor and destitute. Had they owned gold, again, I don't want to say had they owned gold, but had they owned gold, that wouldn't have happened. But they owned currency. I mean, you can't, or currency didn't, or assets that are valued on dollars. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of weird. Anyways, I digress again to get into all these kind of strange rabbit holes here. But this is why you don't worry about the price of gold going down, because the overall trend of those dollars in your pocket and dollar-backed assets is this right here: down, down, down. And again, if you notice, it's even worse of late. This current administration, it's gone downhill even worse. But what do you expect when you just spend, and you think that you can print money willy-nilly? Anyways, comparing this chart that we were just looking at, the price of gold. Where is the price there? Doggone it. The gold chart here. Yeah, there's a gold chart right there. Gold chart, comparing that chart with, I'm sorry, gosh, got lost there. Comparing the value of the dollar, the decline and the buying power of the value of the dollar compared to gold and silver. There's no comparison. Gold and silver hold their value over time. I've said it many times in the past here. A 1964 silver quarter would buy you a gallon of gas back in 1964. That silver in that quarter will still buy you a gallon of gas. That quarter will not. That's the power of gold, silver, and platinum. A lot of people, there's a lot of get rich quick people that get suckered into gold and silver, and they usually get suckered into it by telemarketing firms or television ads, saying end times, that there's no better time to own gold than now. But they make it sound like it's an investment. When they start talking about 100% returns or 50% returns, or they start showing all these graphs where people have made, when they turn it into, make it look like it's a no, you're going to make a ton of money and you're going to get rich quick on it. It's such bullshit. That's not what gold and silver and really probably platinum are all about. Gold and silver are not about getting rich quick. Gold and silver are preserving what you have now, preserving it, because where else, what is good wealth preservation out there? Think of, really, what is good wealth preservation other than gold? Cash is not. You can't stuff cash in your mattress and come back later and expect it to be worth more. And you know, the difference between gold and equities is a totally different thing. Equities are investments. You're making like a bet that this company is going to sell a lot of products or do a lot of good things, and that the company is going to grow 2 and 3 and 4 times, and your money's going to grow that much. All right, that's investments. Equities are investments. It's not my gig. I don't know anything about them, but equities are not wealth, or equities are not anywhere close to good as gold and silver as wealth preservation, because the problem with equities is that any morning you can wake up and that company is bankrupt, okay, or whatever you invested is in bankrupt. It's gone. It's not there anymore for reasons of their own, or something someone else caused innocently, you know. You could wake up one morning and find your equities basket just completely decimated, gone. Cryptos, the same things, but I don't believe in cryptos because I don't think they really exist. It's just another form of electronic fiat, in my opinion. And I've never had my mind changed on that. But again, I don't diss people that have made money on that. If you make money in equities, you make money in all these other things, cryptos and stuff like that. That's great, man. That's an investment. That's what investment is. Gold, silver, and platinum are about preserving the money that you made in those markets, preserving the money that you made working hard your whole life, especially in times that, you know, tough times. Interesting conversation today I had. Everyone's talking about chat, openai.com, and I'm going to read some of this right here, and I hope that you enjoy this. It was an interesting conversation I had with actually a hard drive that's smarter than I am or something. I asked, what are the benefits of owning gold as a form of wealth preservation versus owning the US dollar? What are the downsides as well? And this was the answer by Chat OpenAI. Gold has historically been considered a reliable form of wealth preservation, as it tends to maintain its value over time, especially during periods of economic uncertainty or inflation. Boy, it got that right. Some of the benefits of owning gold as a form of wealth preservation are: 1, hedge against inflation. Gold has historically been a hedge against inflation. During periods of high inflation, the purchasing power of paper currencies can erode quickly, whereas the value of gold tends to hold up better. I'm going to blow that up a little bit. Diversification. Gold can provide diversification to a portfolio of assets, as it tends to have a low correlation with other asset classes such as stocks and bonds. Yeah, because stocks and bonds are investments. Gold is about wealth preservation, okay? Store of value. Gold has been a store of value for centuries and is not subject to the same risk as paper currency. Interesting. Good comment there, too. Very astute by the Chat AI. Such as inflation, government interference, or central bank policy. Beautiful. However, there are some downsides in owning gold as a form of wealth preservation, including, and I expected to hear some downsides. It's good, you know. The bias of this computer is, well, it does have bias. Garbage in, garbage out. However, there are some downsides to owning gold as a form of wealth preservation, including no income. Unlike stocks or bonds, gold does not generate any income. It does not pay, you know, but this is kind of interesting. It's kind of counterintuitive. What it says above is that it's about wealth preservation. Then it mentions down here the downside: it doesn't generate income. All right. Well, that's because income is usually generated primarily on investments, and investments are typically have some risk involved with them. And like I said, with corporations, you risk that that company goes bankrupt. You risk that they don't grow 2 and 3 and 4 times and don't make your money grow with it. Gold, silver, and platinum are about wealth preservation. So I kind of disagree with that in a way. It says volatility. Gold prices can be volatile and they can fluctuate based on a variety of factors such as geopolitical events, interest rates, and supply and demand. Storage and security. Owning physical gold requires proper storage and security, which can be costly and time consuming. Moreover, there's always a risk of theft and loss. There is always a risk of theft and loss, but I've done so many videos on storage and security. I've shown you how I can fit $1 million worth of gold in a 2-slice toaster and kilo bars. All right, so it's not rocket scientist to hide stuff really good. In fact, interestingly enough, you know, something I learned from my recent meeting with this family here is that please, folks, if something happens to you and you own gold and silver, please, please, please make sure you tell someone you trust where it's at. That way your assets don't get sold in the event of your passing, and nobody knows that they're hidden somewhere in their yard or somewhere up in the attic or somewhere, you know, in a warehouse somewhere, okay? Anyway, with that said, let me finish up here. On the other hand, owning a U.S. dollar can provide benefits and downsides as a form of wealth preservation. Some of the benefits of you owning U.S. dollars are liquidity. Yeah, we have to admit, U.S. dollars got liquidity. Income, U.S. dollar denominated assets such as U.S. Treasury bonds provide income in form of interest payments. That's true, but if we were talking, if you were in positive rates, if you're in positive yields, when you're actually, the money they were giving you was more than the inflation rate, but that's not the case. It's a negative thing, so there's nothing stable about that per se. Again, here, stable currency. Considered a stable currency, not said, well, we're seeing that now. We're starting to see some volatility. So I can't necessarily agree with all that. However, there's some downsides to owning U.S. dollars as a form of wealth preservation, including inflation risk. I agree with that. Currency risk. If you're holding U.S. dollars in non-U.S. country, you're exposed to currency risk. Okay. Geopolitical risk. The value is being impacted by geopolitical events such as wars, trade disputes, or political instability. Okay. So again, that's the beauty of owning gold, and silver, because they kind of shine during those times of trade disputes, wars, and political instability. And you're asking me, well, how come it's not going up? How come it's not shining right now? Well, folks, again, what would you rather be hanging on to? A negative yield that you're going to get from treasuries and other bonds and things like that are paying below what the inflation rate is? You're going to hold on to U.S. dollars. You're going to risk your money in the stock market, well, which is really about investments, but you could lose that as well. If you got money you just want to preserve your wealth with, gold and silver are still the place to be, even though they're down right now. Again, that's just my opinion. In summary, owning gold has benefits as hedging against inflation, providing diversification, being a store of value. However, it has its downsides such as no income volatility. And again, I disagree with some of that because, again, no income, it's not really made to have income. It's about preserving the income that you make. I ask up here, how much has the dollar declined in buying power since the Federal Reserve took over in 1913? What would be the correlation between the Fed taking over and the decline of the buying power of the U.S. dollar? This is really interesting. I'm not sure I'm going to be able to finish all this here, folks, today, because here, let me see. How much more do I got here? Actually, I got through this. No, I did not get through this. There's a lot more I got to go through. I think I'm actually going to save this for Monday or something like that, where I've asked, you are correct to remove you. Hold on. We're asked, why have you not mentioned the fact there appears to be a correlation of the dollar's decline buying power when its past gold backing was removed? There's some other really good questions here I asked, but I'm going to get into that probably on Monday night's video. So part 2 on Monday night of questions I asked chatopenai.com. All right, folks, what's going on out in the world? Nothing good. Of course, I never look at the Wall Street Journal. I was a subscriber there for, a dozen years or something like that. And then finally, I guess, just get sick of it's a narrative sometimes. I got to wonder who's running this newspaper. Again, they seem just like government mouthpieces for the most part. But nothing too good out there. Nothing good going on as far as in the world. Wars, more wars. What's going on out here? America's largest power grid faces worsening reliability risk. With the amount of money the government has, and we're sending $100 billion to Ukraine, okay? We can't fix, again, $100 billion going over there to help, blow up people. That's what it really is. Think about it. It's nothing about freedom. It's about getting rid of all those old 155 millimeter howitzer shells we have and replenishing our stocks. It is the military-industrial complex in its full glory, okay, is what we got going on right now. Yet we don't have a fucking dime, excuse my language, to fix the power grid. Boy, I should do just a political section here, but nothing good going on in the world. What does that mean? It just means that better reason to be in gold, silver, and platinum, folks. At some point, we're all going to wake up and have our oh shit moment. I've had a couple oh shit moments in my lifetime here with gold, silver. Done quite well with it as well. At the very least, even in the downtime, I'm always happy I own gold, silver, and platinum. I always feel secure with it. I always feel like I'm never going to wake up and hear it's all gone, okay? Again, well, all right, let me move out of here. I've got some stuff to do. Got to go finish up some business for my father here, or his estate here. So that's why I keep looking at the clock up here. Boy, I'm running late. I'm going to answer a few questions here, and then I'm going to close it up here. Cloudly Mark says, if you took a $50 bill or a 1 ounce gold silver coin and walked into London, do you think you could buy a pint of beer? I think so. I once tried to buy a hamburger with a Krugerrand, kind of jokingly, and the girl had no clue what gold really looked like. Probably never held a gold coin, but she was willing to take it for that burger, that's for sure. I think people have an innate sense of gold. There's something that ties humans with gold and silver, especially again if you ever remember the first time you held a gold coin or silver in your hand, it was like there's something that again it's intertwined with us. But let me move again. That's a rabbit hole I can go down to. What's up, Elko? Everything you can't have everything in an ATM. That's for sure. Hi from Bradenton. Hey, what's up, man? Gold addicts display made the same with Bitcoin. All right. Another 50% boy. Poor palladium. Palladium and platinum reached near parity. I'm kind of thinking the same thing, gold addict. I think you might be right. What's up, Rick Ingman? As a medium for GSR for the last 30 years. Interesting. If it ain't your first, ain't your last. U.S. is heading for. Oh, by the way, like I said, that reminds me. Again, check out part 2 on Monday because I want to get into what something Rick was bringing up here. That I had a conversation with that chat AI thing. CR says, if it ain't your first, ain't your last. U.S. headed last after being first. Reasonable guess is the retail investors are getting shaken out. Equities are looking better and better. Glad I bought MVDA. Yeah, like I said, that's what an investment is. Kind of an investment that gives a return and is supposed to double and triple and go up in value over time. Are equities and stuff like that, not typically gold, silver, and platinum. Gold, silver, and platinum are used as wealth preservation. So people complain that they haven't made a lot of money on gold, silver, and platinum. Stick it up your rear, man, because you're, if you got into gold, silver, and platinum for that reason, then you were watching too many television ads or talking to too many telemarketers or listening to too many people trying to push $20 gold pieces, graded U.S. gold down your throat online. All right, anyways, boy, another rabbit hole. James Ed says, I believe platinum's going on. Platinum's going on because they're using platinum for catalytic converters. Platinum's got expensive. I was talking about that a year or two ago, but I don't know if they've made the switch from platinum to palladium. Have they? Does anyone know if they're starting to use platinum instead of palladium and catalytic converters? If that's the case, I nailed it last year. John Schroeder says, I noticed when the dollar index chart, when the dollar goes up, strength gold. Yep. But again, it's just the big commercials using this data, understanding that they can shake out the managed longs using this data. That's what the managed money is looking at. They're looking at these charts, 200-day moving averages. They're looking at all kinds of data. They're data-driven. They're data-driven in their mindset. Okay, and the managed money, the big commercials know this. So they know that the once it hits the 200-day moving average, or so to speak, a little bit below that, the managed money will come back in and buy those shorts back or something like that, or new longs or whatever. Anyways, oh man, just with 20, I know it cost me $100. Good for you, man. Iowa weather is holding. I bet it's cold up there. Thanks for watching, Jerry. Appreciate that. 24 karat. The Eagles M15. Oh, the Eagles I showed in Thursday's video. Mama disappeared at the beginning of the month. Nobody knows what happened to her. Been some Lady Eagle stopped by, and if you're wondering what he's talking about, last week's video was. Let me see if I can pop it up here. That's the live cam in the lower keys. You can see I like my live cams. Where are we? John Pennekamp. Boy, that video don't even work anymore. I've been there a couple times. Coral City. Man, I guess. Boy. There we go, Southwest Eagle Cam. That's what they're talking about. This is a live cam here. Those are the baby eagles he's talking about here. I guess Mama went away, and Daddy's taking care of him, the male eagle, I guess, taking care of by himself. Putin's speech, you're not going to do. Yeah. This war is not good for anybody here. Thanks, 24 karat. I appreciate it. CRB, if you get rich quickly, you go quickly. Why are Mexican gold coins so expensive? Just because there's a big demand for them. There's not a lot of them out there. I think there's a collectability to them to some degree, but I'd avoid paying anything that has a big premium. Ronald, what's up? Mandarin, I don't stack gold silver to get rich. I stack it to stay rich. Good for you, man. That's, again, wealth preservation. Justice Martin, you're welcome. When German market, yeah, what do you think would happen to an average guy with schooling? Yeah, not good. Watch. I talk about fiat currencies again with this AI program and I'll go into part 2 on that on Monday. Revolution, what's Gold Buffalo going for these days from you? The spot plus 110, what I sell them for. I'm not sure if it's going to drop back to 17, 18, but it may, man. And again, like I said, buy the frickin' dips. They'll raise the debt ceiling once again. Yep, they probably will. -6 degrees in Colorado. Ooh, that's cold. I'm on Twitter, by the way. Yep. Thanks for following me. I appreciate that, Sweaty Elvis. Okeechobee Keith, what's going on? Looking forward to seeing you sometime soon here in the store. Primary is fall, but remember when the prices. Yeah, I think, folks, if we do see silver go into that sub $20 level, you'll probably see premiums go up again, probably, but I don't know for sure. We'll see what happens. 90,000. I know if you have to ask, you can't afford it. Which, yeah, right. Silver could go down 12 if the economy really collapses. I don't see that happening. Wouldn't surprise it. Yeah, Russell, I don't really know. I think we're stuck with CME Group as the price discovery point. I just wish that someday regulators or somebody would go in and make them honest. Maybe I'm hoping for too much. Philip Stanton says, more rare coin talk. Oh, I wish I could talk about it more, but I keep looking at the clock here, and I'm going to be late, man. I promised everyone I'd be there. I've got 10 minutes to get ready. I don't mean to buzz through all you guys. A lot of good questions here. Let's see, Kevin. Well, the problem with gold and silver, they need to see the holding gains over time. They gradually, not really. If you take a look at, they hold gains over the long term. I mean, look at the charts that I showed you earlier. Look at that chart, for example. I mean, yeah, I'd say they hold gains, but not during their spiky periods right here. But it really is a great form of wealth preservation. And you can get rich if you time this thing right. If you time those spikes high, you can make a lot of money on that stuff. All right, well, let's see here. How much for the average American Eagle? 110 bucks over, more or less. And that's it, folks. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. And please, if you would, hit that little bell somewhere there, too. It'll let you know when my new videos come up. You can also find me here, by the way, too, as well. If you never find me here someday, I'm just gone. Probably because I open my big fat mouth too much. You'll find me here. And I've been posting out here more. It looks like I got some replies for some of you guys out here. So you can ask me questions personally. As my videos get bigger, it's getting harder and harder for me to answer there. So maybe I can answer here, answer some of your questions as well. Hey, that's it. This is Brian Kuzmar with Commercial Rare Coins and Precious Metals in beautiful Lauderdale by the Sea. If you're looking to buy gold, silver, and platinum, and you live anywhere in South Florida, I'm here 10 to 4, Mondays through Fridays. We're a brick and mortar, and we can sell you anywhere from $1 worth of gold and silver and platinum to millions of dollars worth of gold, silver, and platinum. And we advertise to beat APMEX, SD, JM, the big online guys. I respect them all, but if you're going to beat someone, who do you want to beat? The big respectable guys. And we also beat the locals down here as well. All good people as well. Anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you have a wonderful weekend. And man, I got to run. I'm late. Talk to you later.